This is a Cymbidium orchid. Cymbidiums bloom for about 2 to 3 months. This particular Cymbidium is a miniature Cymbidium. As you can see, it's not a very large plant, but Cymbidiums are often used for cut flowers. Cymbidiums are from Eastern Asia mostly, in tropical and subtropical regions. Cymbidiums are widely grown in Southern California outdoors and also many other areas. Cymbidiums are native to the Western Pacific Ocean basin from India all the way to southern Australia. Some Cymbidium species are terrestrial and some are epiphytic. Terrestrial plants mean basically that the Cymbidium, instead of living with the mix in a pot like this, would be happier with a looser, more coarse mix, and the plant would normally grow on more of a tree or a rock. A terrestrial orchid, which is this particular one right here, is used to living in more of a mix, kind of underneath trees and rocks and things like that. Most Cymbidiums that we're going to grow at home are going to be hybrids, and they're going to be terrestrial. So that means they're going to be happier in a mix. This particular Cymbidium is a cool growing, as most that we grow are. They have long grass-like leaves, as you can see on this one. The mixture in this one is a fine fir bark mix. That's what most Cymbidiums like to be repotted in, a fine fir bark mix. Let's see, what else? Cymbidiums don't like to get colder than 35 degrees at night. A max during the day would be somewhere between 50 to 65 degrees. I would say don't go higher than 80 to 85 unless you're misting quite a bit on the leaves. Don't mist in the evening, otherwise you could get some spots on your leaves. Right now you can see these leaves are pretty clean, but for example, here's a spot on this leaf right here. Cymbidiums generally like a half day of sunlight. That could be bright indirect light all day, or morning sun, or it could be dappled afternoon sun all afternoon. That's about 2,500 to 3,500 foot candles. Cymbidiums, if they get yellow leaves, which this one doesn't have, but if you get very light yellow leaves, that generally means you're getting way too much light. If you get darker leaves, you're getting too little light. This color of leaf right here is basically the right color of leaf that you want. Because Cymbidiums can be grown outside, you might want to mist the floor sometimes, or spray the floor. If you put gravel on the ground, that's good, just so that there's some moisture evaporating for the plants. If they're growing inside, then you might want to, or you definitely want to, put a tray with pebbles so that your Cymbidium can get quite a bit of moisture coming up around the plant. You don't want to submerge the pot, though, in pebbles. You could also put your orchid on a humidity tray. Let's see. As for repotting your Cymbidium, repotting is usually done after flowering, and you want to be very careful of the new growth. Here's a new growth in this Cymbidium. Right here. See that kind of small one? And generally the plant's going to need more room where that new growth is. The time to repot would be basically after that new growth. As for fertilizing, let's see. You want to use a high nitrogen fertilizer such as a 25-9-9, February through July, and then a low nitrogen fertilizer August through January. Either you can fertilize every third watering, or you can water every time with fertilizer, but a very weak solution. Make sure every fourth watering, in that case, to let the Cymbidium have clear water with no fertilizer. That's because you don't want fertilizer salts to build up in the pot. Anyway, Cymbidiums can be wonderful to grow. They are going to bloom about 2 to 3 months per flower spike, but a lot shorter if you do not have enough humidity. For example, this flower right here, which you can see is kind of browning, that's because this orchid, before it got home, had already had that damage done at the store, where it was basically probably not having enough humidity or something like that. Anyway, best of luck with your orchid care, and Cymbidiums. Oh, actually, one more thing. Because this is a miniature Cymbidium, and it's about 2 to 3 feet in height, then that means if you get a standard Cymbidium, it's going to be more like about 3 to 4 feet in height. Cymbidiums do come in many colors, such as yellow, green, red, all sorts of colors. And this particular one is kind of a burgundy pink. Enjoy your Cymbidiums.